WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside the president of the Dominic DeNucci fan club, none other than Nick Cataldi.
Yay!
Wow.
I'm the only guy in it, though, I think. Oh, I'm sorry. DeNucci's mother is in it also.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not just the president, you're also a client. Just like the old Cy Sperling Hair Club.
The hair company, yeah, right. Exactly.
Remember that well. I believe he was a, what was it? He was a celebrity for WrestleMania 10 back in 1994.
I didn't know that.
They actually, I remember it well. I was, almost 13 at the time. And I was wondering, going, who is this?
I was 13 once. We having a problem?
Huh?
Are we having a problem? The level?
Yeah, your yay almost blew my ears out, so I needed to go over and make an adjustment to...
I'm awfully sorry.
That's all right.
It was a normal yay.
It was. There was gusto behind it. It's been a while since you've been with us. There was gusto. There was emphasis. There was.
What are those words? Oh, never mind.
Chutzpah, even.
Yeah, chutzpah. Very Yiddish of you.
I'm just pulling out all kinds of stops here.
Yes.
Lucas the Intern not with us this week as he's. I don't know where the hell he is. Yeah, he's out of town. We'll go with that. Yeah.
He's out of town.
Even when he's here, he's out of town. But he is legitimately, he's legitimately out of town. And I was hoping to have him here to discuss the insane nights that have been in Philadelphia over the course of this past week. One of which he and I got the chance to attend as Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. They made their way to the ECW Arena this past Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and WWE's developmental league, NXT. They were at the Tower Theater both Thursday night, which Lucas and I attended, as well as last night. So part of a huge wrestling-related week, and even though it's not too far from Philadelphia, of course, the WWE Payback pay-per-view, which is going to emanate from Baltimore tomorrow night, plus NXT's up in Albany, New York tonight. So there's a lot going on here in the Northeast. So if any of you were at any of the events and wanted to give your take on what you saw live, certainly more than welcome to do so, either via the phones, 215-949-3232, or toll free at 888-922-2149. Or you can chime in on the Facebook fan page, which has had, to say the least, a lot of different entries. In fact, Bob chiming in on the Facebook fan page, I'm in the fan club. So you're not alone in the Dominic DeNucci fan club.
Very good. It's two of us.
Love the instant interactivity.
Very good.
That goes on.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, Danny chiming in with some pictures from the second night of the Ring of Honor New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Is he a DeNucci fan?
Danny, I don't know.
Well, then he can forget it.
I don't know. If Dominic DeNucci emanated from Japan instead of Italy, then I think he'd be more apt to be a fan. But probably get heat for that later.
Oh boy,
causing trouble wherever I go. That's what I do.
You're not a nice person, are you?
That's the weird thing. I am a nice person, but my mouth
just a troublemaker. Right?
My mouth just gets me into trouble.
I had a high school vice principal tell me that once, because your mouth's going to get you a lot of trouble, Nick. I hate to say it.
So, of course, you went into radio.
Well, I didn't.
Just a natural
progression. I can't say it made me a lot of money, but it's made me some money. So, thank you, Mr. Archeri. You know.
No good zone. No.
Yeah, right.
Oh, gosh.
Being the vice principal and disciplinarian guarantees you one thing. Job security. Nobody else wants your job. But go ahead. Back to wrestling.
No, that's fairly accurate.
No, very much.
I don't think I could be mean enough to do it, though.
You don't think?
No. I think as much as I come across as a jerk on the air, not as much here as I do on Completely Damaged, which I do. Okay, I'll give RC a plug. Completely Damaged Radio, Mondays from 11 to noon.
Well, you really can't be a nice guy and do wrestling. I mean, then again, I guess there have been some nice guy announcers. Monsoon.
Will you be serious?
He was a nice guy announcer.
No, he was. No, he was.
He was the good guy announcer.
He was the good guy announcer.
And then Jesse Ventura was the baddie.
Yeah, the interaction with him and Jesse Ventura, the interaction with him and Bobby Heenan, they were both priceless.
Right. Well, he and Heenan were very good friends, extremely good friends.
Oh yeah.
Not they're very good friends.
No, I know. I remember seeing Bobby Heenan in tears on WCW Monday Nitro when it was announced in October of '99 that Gorilla Monsoon had passed away.
I also read his book. He's a very intelligent person. I think I mentioned that before, didn't I?
Well, I mean, with a name like Bobby the Brain Heenan, you would.
Well, no. Oops.
You wouldn't think he was below the IQ threshold.
That's true. Yeah, but he was a brain because he trained the wrestlers. That's what made him a brain. But no, very.
Oh, and he had he arguably has the quickest wit in professional wrestling.
Think?
Oh, okay. You could make an argument for Jim Cornette, but those are probably my top two.
He annoyed me because he seems so spoiled.
Well, that was his gimmick.
Exactly. That's what annoyed me.
He had that fast talking Southern carny voice. I mean, I love Jim Cornette.
Tennis racket, and
he was one of my first interviews when I took the show over 6 years ago.
Right.
Going back to, Sinomania over at George's a while ago. Actually, George's has some awesome stuff coming up that we'll talk about a little bit later in the hour.
Right.
Well, just last night, for example, they had Jim the Anvil Neidhart and from ECW, the franchise Shane Douglas over at their Chamonix Mall location.
And I missed it.
Yeah,
I was working too.
Here. But here's a couple. You know what? What the heck? I'll let you know about it now. Why the heck not? Plenty more coming up over the next few weeks, including Friday, May 29th. WWE Hall of Famer Larry Zbyszko, the living legend.
Yes.
He'll be at George's in the Chamonix Mall from 6 to 8 p.m. on Friday, May 29th. And
he was a much better heel than he was a good guy.
He was. I mean, and
pretty good heel.
I remember him from his commentator days in the early 90s of WCW, always talking about that game of human chess. That was one of his stigmas on was it Saturday night or maybe WCW Worldwide that he was on, something like that.
Right.
Actually, went to a taping of that in Orlando. I have a tape of it too. That's
wow.
Little teenage.
He was supposed to be Bruno Sammartino's nephew, but that was. You might find this hard to believe, but that was Kefab.
Yeah.
Kefabi.
I know. Well, he talked about that a little bit in his Hall of Fame speech earlier this year.
I can't believe they would actually lie on wrestling, but go ahead.
Well, we don't do that here on this show.
Oh, good. I was disappointed to find the Golden Grams weren't brothers either. Man, was I.
Hell of a cereal, though.
With Golden Grams?
Yeah.
Yes.
Delicious.
Okay. Now you know how he got the job, folks. Anyway.
Just read and react. It's what I do. Or at least try to. Saturday, June 13th. That's about a month away, a little less than. TNA star Eric Young, as well as WWE legend the Honky Tonk Man, the greatest Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time.
I knew that was coming.
He'll be at George's
Intercontinental. Oh, God.
Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time.
Was there a lightweight Intercontinental Champion? How come wrestling doesn't have weight classes? I always wondered about that.
Because with Vince McMahon, it's the bigger the better.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I used to like midgets. Sky Low, and Little Beaver, and
You and Bill Redner would get along swimmingly.
Yeah. And
he always asks that every time he sees me. When are they bringing the midgets back?
Yeah, Cowboy Lang and Jamaica Kid. Yeah, I remember all of them.
The Haiti Kid, yeah.
There was also Jamaica Kid, too.
Oh, there's Jamaica Kid. Lord Littlebrook.
Yes. Sky Low was my favorite. Guy named Sky Low, though. I mean, when he was born, they named him that. Actually, it's really Lionel, I forget, Giroux?
Giroux, yeah.
Giroux, yeah. Lionel Giroux, yeah. I couldn't imagine his parents named him Sky Low. Yeah.
Would Low be the middle and the last name?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that would work. No, the first reference that I got to that was, I think, you remember Earthquake?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
He delivered a drop kick.
Right.
And it was actually a pretty decent one, but Gorilla Monsoon slagged on it, saying he wouldn't have hit Skylo Low with that one. It's like, wow, that was mean of Monsoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never thought he was a nice guy, Monsoon. He was like on the side of the good guy. I just never got the impression he was like a nice guy, in real life. I
don't know. The only time that I kind of saw him in person was maybe 6 months before he passed away. He made an appearance as one of the judges for the Brawl for All match at WrestleMania 15 in I think it was late March of '99, and then fast forward 6 months later to October, and he passed away at the age of 62, I think it was.
Is that all? He was that young? Young to me. I just turned 60,
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, you also didn't take all those bumps for all those years. I'm still hurting just from the bumps I took at the Monster Factory.
I drove a cab in Trenton, New Jersey for 17 years. I took more bumps than he did. Trust me.
Fair point.
Seriously.
I
Off and on, I was full and part-time for 17 years. Any other jobs I've done, too.
Lucky to be alive more so than the wrestlers are.
Yes.
That's even with all the...
I only wrestle for a few minutes,
Yeah.
Not that I'm selling them short, all kidding aside. But I took my share of bumps is my point.
Oh, yeah. No, especially after that weekend a couple weekends ago. I mean, I already had a tremendous respect for professional wrestling, but actually being in the ring, actually taking back bumps, running the ropes.
You did all that?
Yeah, Lucas and I did.
All right. I missed it, huh?
Yeah, it was a 3-day camp at the Monster Factory down in Paulsboro, and I even took a vertical suplex and lived to tell the tale.
Is that why your head's a little flatter? No.
No, that was from the first time I took a back bump and landed right on, as Gorilla Monsoon would say, the external occipital protuberance.
Go Gorilla.
How's that for a throwback?
Oh boy,
love that.
We had school I went to. We had a boxing program briefly, okay, and then when we were done with the boxing, the phys ed teacher decided to have us wrestling in the ring. We had an actual boxing ring set up and wrestling ring.
Oh so no! Were people taking bumps in a boxing ring?
Well, wait a minute. It was actually not. It was on a gym floor, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
Me and a friend of mine, we got in there and acted like wrestlers, and. It must have been hysterical because a bunch of people just stood there laughing at us. We were doing all this stuff, running the ropes and all. But we couldn't bounce off these ropes too good because they weren't that tight. We had to be careful. I mean, we had to be careful. We were not professionals, okay? But we still did we did a half decent job, but there was no suplexes. A lot of drop kicks though.
Oh, I can't imagine that being fun.
Well. We were only kids, so it didn't hurt. 15,
no, you don't feel it.
Old.
Yeah,
exactly. You can take bruises a lot better. I felt the side of my truck.
The kid did, that's for sure.
I felt the side of my truck the other day and felt every bit of it. I was doing something.
Oh man,
every bit of it. Anyway,
crazy times. Where was I? George's. That's where this tangent train.
Georgia, the whole day.
George's Cards. No, George's Cards and Collectibles. Oh. They have their 3 locations that you can check out for all your sports and wrestling memorabilia needs, including their original store right down the road from us here at 7755 New Falls Road, right in Fairless Hills. Also on the lower level of the Oxford Valley Mall next to the Sears Court, as well as the Neshaminy Mall in the AMC Theater wing.
Now, do they have just wrestling memorabilia, or do they have everything?
Oh, they have all kinds of sports memorabilia. Okay. I mean, you can go in there and buy everything from a replica championship belt to a litany of baseball cards, football cards.
You think they would want some cards from the Canadian Football League?
I don't know. I would say give George a call and find out. You can do so at 215-943-2475, or you can go to georgescollectibles.com.
See, how was that for helping out?
That was a beautiful segue. You just set them up and I knock them down.
I just want to, Very good. Oops,
It was like
the
lifting,
mic was on. Oh, darn. But go ahead.
It was like the Road Warriors lifting somebody up for the Doomsday Device.
There you go. I used to like them.
How's that?
I was a road
reference?
warrior of sorts.
And you can also find out about the Larry Zbyszko, Eric Young, and Honky Tonk Man signings. To give you an idea of some of the memorabilia they have, I went in there and saw they have an autographed 2x4 from Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
No kidding.
Yeah. I even got me one of them.
Zowie.
Yeah, they have, I know they have, they have so many things I'm trying to think. I think they have an autographed either elbow pad or maybe pair of trunks from the late Macho Man Randy Savage.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's
very
got to be
good.
a pretty penny, yeah. Oh, yeah, they have just a litany of different, and they have like autographed footballs, baseballs, cleats.
Well, I should go over there and put my signature on something, That would really help out business, I'm sure.
You'd have to pay them for it, probably.
Anyway.
No, that's why I don't have anything autographed.
Actually, I have a baseball autographed by, what's his name?
Well, I mean, anything with my autograph on it is where I was. Yeah.
Don Larson.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. And on that same baseball is the autograph of Rick Barry.
Ah.
Which is kind of an oddity,
Not to be confused with the group The Oddities in the WWF in '98. Golga and Kurgan and Luna Vachon. And
I have videotape of Larry Zbyszko. I think he with the AWA or something.
Very possible.
I think it was AWA. And I also have videotape of some of the old timers, like Gorgeous George and stuff like that. That's why I was so furious when they brought that girl on as Gorgeous George. I was like upset.
Oh yeah, Stephanie Bellers.
I was really upset about that. It was a smack in the face of the real deal,
Yeah, well, Randy Savage had always had ties to the Gorgeous George character. Gorgeous George initially, the original Gorgeous George came out to Pomp and Circumstance, which Randy Savage utilized as his entrance theme.
He should never have done it. And the wrestlers today owe much to Gorgeous George. So much they should not have renamed a character after him. You know what I mean? Especially a very pretty one.
I mean, even I in my teenage years was kind of like, Gorgeous George.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a wrestler back in the 50s or something? Why are they giving it to this?
50s
why are they giving it to this 22-year-old, very well endowed in the chest lady?
Right. And the irony was, Gorgeous George himself was not a great physical specimen. He really wasn't. And in those days, wrestlers were more working class looking, and he was just regular looking. He was in okay shape, in good shape, but he was not a bulging guy. It was his act, and what talent he did have, that carried him through.
That got everybody's attention.
Right. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Very good. I know we're just bouncing all over the place here. In fact,
fault.
No. It's not a bad
sorry.
thing.
I'm an ingrate.
I've been called worse.
We were supposed to say no, you're not Nick, but that's okay.
Oh no,
it's okay.
no, you're not Nick. I mean, no, you're.
I
not
am
an
Nick.
Ingrate. Well, you're not an ingrate.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go with that. What the hell? All right, let's take care of our first bit of business. We'll come back. We'll talk about the 4 nights in Philly here. We still have predictions certain to go wrong coming up. And speaking of back in the day, old becoming new again, and one of my favorite tag teams as a youth have been reformed in a sense, kind of through parody, and we'll see them. Yeah, I know.
In wrestling?
I know. We'll see them in action at the Payback pay-per-view pre-show tomorrow night. So, yeah, looking back to what was so great in '88, and they're trying to revive it in a sense with Axelmania and Macho Mandow.
That rhymed. I like that. Great in '88, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to use that sometime.
Works out well. All right. Plus, we have room for you on the phones and the Facebook feedback. We'll get back to that as well. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Nick Cataldi behind the board. No Lucas the Intern this week.
Yeah.
Oh.
I couldn't resist.
I'm sure he's somewhere out of town going, I heard that.
I'm going to get you.
That is not fair.
If the phone rings, I'll know he's listening.
Yeah. Either that or my phone will buzz because it'll send an angry text with lots of expletives.
You can't take a joke, Lucas? I'm going to yell at him now.
He takes plenty of jokes, usually at his own expense for me.
Not very well.
No, he's actually gotten good at giving me as good as he's gotten.
Well, okay, that's good. That's the way you do it. You don't get sore about it. You just come back.
He has. He's had quite a few zingers on me. That's
right.
What happens when you become friends over the better part of. Actually, can you believe this coming August? It'll be 2 years since he hopped onto the show here.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, that's great.
I know he's grown up before our ears.
I mean, wow, I'm happy to know this.
And it apparently brought you to tears.
Yeah, driven to tears. Police.
Brings a
driven to tears.
Tear to a glass eye or something like that. Alrighty, so where to start? Well, let me get into the NXT in Philadelphia. I was going to say, my knowledge of Ring of Honor and New Japan kind of precludes me from talking a lot about that. I know there are others who are much more versed in it who could prattle on for hours probably about it. But from all accounts that I got, the two New Japan Ring of Honor shows were great. It was nice on the second night to hear there were cameos by Brutal Bob Evans and Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
Yes, that is his name. They both wrestled for
We
the
had a guy we used to call Cheeseburger in high school. There was a reason for that.
I'll have to ask that during the commercial.
Yes. Go ahead.
Some questions.
I even forget his real name after all these years. Well, Cheeseburger is so much easier to remember. But go ahead.
Well, it's in the same way that after the Monster Factory camp, they all know Lucas as Twitch.
I had a high school teacher we called Twitch.
Very interesting nicknames.
Yeah. Well, this guy had kind of a problem with his shoulder or neck or something. He would like actually twitch.
Oh, okay.
And it was kind of a name. We didn't call him to his face, of course.
Oh.
But he would like have to adjust his shoulder. And you would see him do it.
I know the feeling.
He was a good teacher.
Now.
He was a nice teacher, though.
NXT in Philly. An interesting venue, having it at the Tower Theater. Now, have you been to any shows at the Tower Theater?
I have never been to the Tower Theater in my life. Can you believe that?
I have twice now, and
I'm ashamed of myself. Go ahead.
It looks like a typical auditorium. So
right.
I know when TNA Impact was there a couple of years ago, it almost looked like you were watching wrestling on a stage, because that's what it was. They had the ring and the entranceway up on stage.
Yeah.
But, I mean, pretty much any wrestling venue that you've been to, you're used to that theater in the round style seating.
Right.
And it was a little bit different. WWE, to their credit, they kind of worked around it and actually built some VIP seats on stage, so you kind of had the majority of the crowd facing the ring on the one side, but you had a crowd on the other side as well. Right, so it looked a little bit more like a theater in the round type setting. They did really well with it.
That's good.
There were also some Philly-based appearances, because Philadelphia known for ECW. So Joey Styles, the longtime play-by-play voice of ECW, was in the house. Mick Foley made an appearance.
Wow, no kidding.
And Triple H was in the house as well, which the crowd went absolutely mental for. Not that he was necessarily associated with ECW, but since he's kind of the heir apparent to Vince McMahon's throne, and NXT, this developmental organization, is pretty much Triple H's baby.
That should prove interesting.
Oh, what, when
Vince either passes away or passes on. I mean, I say pass on. He just pass on the torch. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're more accurate in that sense than you realize. Like, I don't think he's going to be the only way he'll be stepping down is when he's stepping 6 feet under.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
I mean, he was just a few months ago. He was on the cover of Muscle and Fitness magazine at the age of 69. So
he does look good, I have to admit.
I'm just wondering when that's going to catch up with him.
Well, is he steroiding, you think? I'm not trying to be a wise guy either.
No. I would not be surprised.
Steroiding isn't really a word, but I was just kidding. Was he using steroids?
I mean, there was a while where he was certainly looking rather large, and I think that's because the wellness policy didn't relate or what didn't reflect announcers so much as it did the actual wrestlers.
Right.
Especially in that point in the early 90s with the steroid distribution trial and whatnot.
No, he was wrestling, oddly enough.
Well, that wasn't until the late 90s.
Yeah, right.
The early 90s, when he was just Vince McMahon, the announcer in the canary blue three-piece suit, he was, he filled out that suit rather notably.
Yes.
We'll just, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Now that he's approaching 70, I don't know. You got to think that catches up with him at some point. That's all I'm saying. Or at least his schedule and his lifestyle, talking about, never sleeping, always having boundless energy, which there are rumors and allegations about how that goes about as well.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, you cannot, to be honest with you, there's, and if I can discuss this, there is a misconception about that.
Okay.
You cannot use what's called an energy drug over and over again daily without it ripping your body apart, and you just will eventually burn right out. You cannot, in other words, say for instance...
Something you have to use sparingly.
Very sparingly.
Very sparingly.
You would probably get more long-term energy by doing the right things. And I mean, listen, I'm not a health nut. Okay, don't get me wrong. You take one good look at me and notice that I am, but I am not using steroids either. You cannot just pump, say, methamphetamine, if I can use the word, into your body on a daily basis and get energy. It'll rob your body of energy, is what it'll do. And so sometimes the rumors about players, playing on this stuff constantly, maybe football because you're only doing it once a week per se, you know what I'm saying? But basketball, I'm like, nah, you couldn't do it.
Baseball with the greenies and whatnot.
You couldn't do it that often. Like football, okay, I can believe it. You got one day a week to really go out there and throw your life a couple of hours. Okay, I'm not saying I'm not, but wrestling, but even someone like Vince McMahon or somebody, if you pop that stuff constantly, it would take such a toll on you. Okay.
No, that makes sense.
Yes, exactly. I speak as I'm in recovery. I understand about this.
Ah, okay.
So.
Gotcha. But
Nick the Genius, instead of the brain, no, I can't be the genius. That was what's his face?
Lanny Poffo.
Lanny Poffo. We've been Lanny Poffo. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want no nickname. I already had a few that
no gimmicks needed. Well, just like Chris Candido.
I call a lot of names, but anyway.
As have I. But what was interesting, the women were the main event. Sasha Banks defending the women's championship against Charlotte, best known as the daughter of the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
I didn't know that.
Oh, now you do.
No.
It pays to tune into the longest running.
We used to call a guy in high school Nature Boy, too.
Is that another story for the commercial break? Man,
yes.
I hope these are short stories because I don't have that.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty short, actually.
That's not a bad thing. Something else that's not a bad thing, now's a heck of a time to let you know about it. Pro Wrestling Action returning. I've been talking about the Monster Factory on and off over the course of the hour, but Pro Wrestling Action returns to the Monster Factory this afternoon. That's right. The doors open at 1, which is just 23 minutes away, and the action starts at 2 o'clock at the Monster Factory down at 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey, where you'll see Lance Anoa'i face the mysterious and dangerous Masked Man War. Also, Royale Money of Paid in Full squares off against Rex Lawless. AC Rock explodes as Mark Cruz faces his former tag team partner Shaheem Ali. Also, Shooters Inc. defend their tag team titles against the Bloodbound Warriors, Grey Wolf, and a mystery partner. Gotta love that.
They sign his check, mystery?
What, War? Well, no, War, I guess he would sign it as War.
Yeah.
But he is a very mysterious individual.
Yes.
Just his eyes alone are rather creepy. Yeah, I've seen War up close.
Okay.
It's hell. Yeah, see what I did there? Former heavyweight champions collide as Luis the Punisher Martinez locks up against QT Marshall in a #1 contenders match, and Monster Factory heavyweight champion Clutch Adams defends his title against the Wild Man Congo.
Where's Wild Man Congo from? Is he from South Jersey or?
Very, very south.
Yeah, right.
No, I forget where exactly he's billed from, but all this action and much more, it's at the Monster Factory, 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey. Tickets are available at the door, just $15 for adults, $10 for children 12 and under. Check out the Monster Factory on Facebook as well as their website, monsterfactory.org. Head on down to the show, and you'll get to see me there because I'm going to be rushing down there right as soon as I get off the air here at 1 o'clock because it takes probably a good 55 to 60 minutes to get down there. Especially if there's a little bit of traffic. Right. So, yeah, from here to Paulsboro, there have been a few close calls, that's for sure. A couple times I haven't quite made bell time and ran into Monster Factory owner Danny Cage, who would call Lucas and I slackers. You know, the usual.
Should body slam him. Don't take that stuff.
That would not be a good idea.
Oh, be afraid. There's two of you against one of him. Of course, Gorilla used to fight handicap matches, too, and he always seemed to win. I'd be embarrassed.
I'd like to say I know Danny pretty well. I would know better than to mess with him. even with Lucas.
Oh, well, Lucas being the killer that he is, you know.
Well, plus that'll hurt his chances of being a student at the Monster Factory, which he's going to be starting up in July.
This I got to see.
I saw it up close and personal.
How much does Lucas weigh?
Right now I'd say probably about 175.
Okay, that's no. See, maybe I haven't looked at him lately. I was about that much at 17.
Yeah, no, he's been on a gym program. He's been going 3 days a week.
Maybe a few pounds less even. Maybe a few pounds less even. Maybe like $170. Yeah, I boxed. So, I boxed at 160. Yeah, I was just turning 17. Okay.
Yeah, that's he turned 17
so maybe I was about 170 when I turned 17. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, no, he's working on a strength training program. He's hitting the gym 3 days a week. He's
very good.
Plus, he's got soccer on top of that. So, yeah, no, he's in considerably better shape than I am. That's for sure. He proved that over the course of that weekend.
Well, okay, good for him. Seriously. I could have read a lot about him, but I'm cheering him on now. I hope he gets in there. I want to see him.
Nobody busts his Mahoney's more than I do, and I couldn't have been prouder of how he
very good,
conducted
Lucas.
himself over the course of the weekend, and just how much he's grown and matured overall over the course of the last 20 months that he's been with he's been here with the show.
Right. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I know. I'm blowing smoke a little bit.
That's all right. No.
But it's honest.
Giving him a nice plug.
Yeah, I'm putting him over like $1 million.
There you go.
I'm making him look stronger than Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Yeah, joke there. All right. Well, where the heck else do I go here? Oh, well, I talked about it earlier. The Meta Powers, which is a complete rip on the Mega Powers.
I had a feeling.
Oh, yeah. No, Curtis Axel, ever since before the Royal Rumble, he's been doing the whole Axelmania thing, which, of course, led to him hyping up Axtreme Rules as opposed to Extreme Rules.
Right.
And recently now with Damian Sandow losing his kind of impersonating the Miz gimmick and being Damian Mizdow, they decided to now make him Macho Mandow. So they faced off this past Monday on Raw.
Macho Mandow, huh?
Yeah, Damian Sandow, Macho Mandow. That's where they're going with that. So they have him come out with, he already has the beard. They have him come out with the sunglasses, the tasseled T-shirt. I think the cowboy hat as well. And after both men getting attacked by a tag team, the Ascension, that ended up forming the Meta Powers. And they'll be in action against the Ascension tomorrow night in the pre-show to the WWE Payback pay-per-view.
Right.
So that'll be a lot of fun. I'll get into the predictions certain to go wrong on the other side of a timeout, which probably should be taking fairly shortly, I would say, right?
1.5 minutes.
1.5 minutes. Okay. Gives me a chance to talk about, of course, the other big news. The forfeiture of the Intercontinental Championship in WWE.
Go on. Who forfeitured it?
Who forfeitured?
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan, the man notorious for his yes chants. Yeah. He appeared on Raw this past Monday after being away for the last month plus, citing an undisclosed medical condition that he didn't really offer specifics about, and really neither has WWE.
Maybe a hangnail. Mm.
Well, no, he did have neck surgery a year ago, and there have been a lot of questions as to...
That might do it.
Well, he came back. He won the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, and then after that, he has pretty much not been on TV. Defended the title a couple of times, but after that, we haven't really seen him. He said they underwent an MRI last week, and the doctors don't know how long he'll be out. He said it could be weeks, months, or possibly never coming back. He did provide an update on Tuesday via Instagram, noting that he picked up his dog after flying home and then headed right to physical therapy, working as hard as he can to get back. Meanwhile, his dog Josie just wants a nap.
Bruno Sammartino broke his neck. Had a neck problem and came back.
Well, look at Kurt Angle. He won as he has said, he won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
Yeah. Not something I would chance.
I mean, he's only in his early 30s. He's maybe, 33, maybe about to turn 34, I think.
I don't know. Once your neck goes, though, you don't have no place to hold up your head.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a...
You only get one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. We'll talk Payback on the other side. What's going to happen with the Intercontinental Championship, as there's a little bit of a note of that. Also, a pay-per-view that disappeared returning in an interesting form. And also WWE Studios, it looks like they're going to get a little bit of financial help. We'll talk about that. Plus, predictions certain to go wrong for the Payback pay-per-view tomorrow. Plus, today in wrestling history and Lucas's favorite segment, birthdays. All that coming up and more. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, May 16. On this date in 1999, the WWF held its UK-exclusive No Mercy pay-per-view. In the main event, Steve Austin defeated The Undertaker and Triple H in an Anything Goes triple threat match to retain the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. That same night stateside, ECW held its Hardcore Heaven 99 pay-per-view. In the main event, Taz defeated Bubba Ray Dudley in a Falls Count Anywhere match to retain the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2004, WWE held its Judgment Day pay-per-view. In the main event, John Bradshaw Layfield defeated WWE Champion Eddie Guerrero by disqualification. On this date in 2010, TNA held its Sacrifice pay-per-view. In the main event, Rob Van Dam pinned AJ Styles to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This has been Today in Wrestling History, May 16. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Nick Cataldi.
Yay. I said it lower.
There you go. Yeah, I was going to say it sounded like it was a little pulled back.
All right, yay.
That's more like the Nick that we're used to. Very good.
I got to yay myself. I mean, it's kind of pathetic. I mean,
well, usually
a crowd of people in here doing it for me.
You know what? Usually when I'm on the board, I have the drop of you going yay, and
but
I
that's
just
still me doing it.
Well, sometimes Lucas does it in as deep of a voice as he can.
Thank you, Lucas.
There you go. He's redeemed himself. Hopefully he'll be able to redeem himself with the predictions certain to go wrong for the Payback. Yeah, we'll get into that. That's right, a little James Brown for the big Payback. I thought it was clever.
I like it.
All right, so we got the pre-show. As I mentioned earlier, the Meta Powers, Curtis Axel and Macho Mandow, taking on the Ascension. Both Lucas and I agree, the Meta Powers forever and ever and ever. Ooh, yeah. That's what we're going with. And then the 7 matches on the card itself, you've got King Barrett, who just recently won, of course, the King of the Ring. They brought that back. That's been on and off for a while. I mean, going back to King Harley Race.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there have been.
I perk up when you bring up the old guys.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I say King Barrett, you're like, who? But I mentioned King Harley Race. You go, oh, yeah, I remember that from the 80s.
Yeah, and before that even.
Yeah, King Haku.
And they had, who did he wrestle? Backlund for the belt? The belt things for 2 different, organizations. I'm not sure who it was.
Well, I mean, Harley Race, I mean, he had that infamous cage match with Flair in '83.
Yeah. It was a battle of the belts or something. And, of course, you might find this hard to believe, but it was a draw.
It was a draw, yeah, of course.
I know that's kind of hard to believe.
I know. I just had this hunch, though.
Well,
Could be my left shoulder. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's still sore after separating it a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Long story. Anyway, Neville, a high flyer. He'll probably impress, but I think that King Barrett will end up taking it, so as does Lucas. We both say all hail King Barrett. Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus. This time, sans arse stipulations. As at the last pay-per-view, they fought in a Kiss Me Arse match.
I'm ready. I can dig snapping.
I kid you not. I guess they can get away with it because, it's in that Irish vernacular.
But to actually do it?
Well, Dolph Ziggler won the match, but Sheamus ended up attacking Ziggler after the match was over and putting an unconscious Ziggler's face against the bare backside of the pale ginger known as Sheamus.
Cheating. Oh, God.
I know.
Ugh. It's dirty fighting. I'm just appalled.
And, yeah, despite the lack of stipulation, we both think that Sheamus is going to be taking this one. The New Day, with their clapping their way to the top, they are the tag team champions. More clapping than Chuck Barris on The Gong Show.
Right. Yeah. I used to love that show.
That's a reference that's, lost on most, I'm sure. You and I get it, but we're probably the only two. If I threw that to Lucas, he'd be like, who? On what show? I'm still working on learning about these things. Anyway, they're taking on former champs Tyson Kidd and Cesaro in my favorite match, the best 2 out of 3 falls. I don't know why I always like the best 2 out of 3 falls matches. It's
more action.
Yeah.
But 99% of the time,
it's going to that 3rd fall.
I was going to tell him that, I knew that nobody out there knew that, you know what I'm saying? I knew it, but you went and told them so.
You know what? Lucas isn't here to just jump into the end of the story before it gets told, so I'm taking his place for it.
Okay.
I've told the joke before that God help him if he ever becomes a father, because like the mother, his wife will go in and say, once upon a time to the kids, and he'll jump in. They lived happily ever after. I'm so getting the crap kicked out of me for that later. Anyway, Lucas and I both think that the champs retain and that the New Day will continue on despite the crowd chants of New Day sucks. New Day sucks. It's part of the clapping rhythm thing. Anyway,
I don't like when people say something sucks. Seriously.
It's a little weak as far as crowd cheers go. Not gonna lie.
No, it's just a horrible thing. It's like a friend of mine put it best. He goes, that's part of the problem with kids today, if you can say that. He goes, it's either great or it sucks. And I thought, yeah, you're right about that. I told him. You got a very good point. And if somebody...
there's no mediocre.
Well, that, and if you're... Yeah, exactly. And it's either it's an all or nothing thing, and subsequently they don't realize how much they're expecting from themselves. It sucks.
Well, I guess because with the rhythm of it, they can't go New Day mediocre or New day subpar. Like it doesn't work with the rhythm.
I agree.
They work with the boundaries they're given.
Oh,
I guess.
I understand. I think.
Or same thing with the singing of John Cena's theme. That bum ba dum bum. They're now singing along with it. John Cena sucks. Yeah.
Poor John.
I know. He's making a lot of money. He's still the face of the franchise, and he's got Nikki Bella, so can't feel too bad for him.
I was being sarcastic.
Exactly. Anyway, Ryback
I don't feel sorry for really any professional athlete, trust me. Not unless they get some, like, career-ending injury or something that really hurts them. But I don't feel too bad for too many of them, too bad.
Speaking of which, that kind of leads into next week, as we'll at least be brushing more than a little bit on next Saturday. Actually, is the anniversary to the day of Owen Hart.
Oh, I see.
May 23rd, 1999.
Yeah. Something like that.
His name's been in the news a little bit lately, as apparently there's another push by WWE to try to get him in the Hall of Fame, but not getting the blessing of his widow Martha Hart or the rest of the Hart family.
What do they?
We'll get more into that next week,
though. Well, will I be here next week?
Probably. Okay. I have no idea. Things change minute by minute around here.
It's your show. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll have to make sure I listen in on that one.
There you go. Yeah, probably have some audio clips of that infamous night.
See, that was kind of
in '99.
Nice little plug there,
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, a little bit of forward thinking. All right, the rest of the card here, because I only have about another 50 seconds left in the song and 3 minutes. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Nice this is like a 7-minute song, too, because I knew it was going to be rambling like this. Ryback against Bray Wyatt. For once, Lucas and I disagree. I'm thinking it's payback for Ryback, and Twitch, meanwhile, he follows the buzzards. He's going with Bray Wyatt. And now the ladies. The Bella Twins against Naomi and Tamina. I'm going double my pleasure. I'm picking the Bella Twins, and Lucas, he likes him some Tamina and Naomi, at least as far as the match goes. And we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
John Cena, mentioned him earlier. He's defending the U.S. title against Rusev in an I Quit match. I think Cena retains. Yeah, it's letting me know that the song's just about over. And the show's probably over, too.
No,
I know. I got about 2 minutes left.
2.5 minutes.
And Seth Rollins, defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Dean Ambrose, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns in a fatal four-way match. If Rollins doesn't retain, then Kane is no longer director of operations for the Authority. Based on that, I think Rollins wins, as does Lucas. So we're agreeing on 6 of the 8. The only differings, Ryback and Bray Wyatt. And,
we'll get him a job here, Kane.
There we go.
He won't have a job, so bring him here. He can do overnights.
Oh, that ain't right. All right, I got just enough time for Lucas's favorite segment, birthdays.
Go ahead.
All right, 2 of them are kind of outside the wrestling realm, but somewhat indirectly related. On this date in 1919, Vladizu Valentino Liberace was born. The flamboyantly entertaining pianist and guest timekeeper of the main event at WrestleMania 1 passed away in February of 1987 at the age of 67, less than 2 years after his WrestleMania appearance.
Right.
That iconic moment of him kicking along with the Rockettes in the middle of the ring.
No.
I know it's just one of those. It's one of those WrestleMania memories.
Liberace, go ahead.
And we're sticking with WrestleMania 1 for this next one. On this date in 1928, Alfred Manuel Martin Jr. was born. The celebrity ring announcer for the WrestleMania 1 main event and former 5-time manager of the New York Yankees, best known as Billy Martin, passed away at the age of 61 on Christmas Day, 1989.
Car accident, wasn't it?
I believe so. I forget, though. And finally, someone who is still with us.
I wasn't a huge fan.
Oh, I was a Phillies fan, so of course not.
Well, I mean, even I just thought he got a little,
Yeah, a little. I know.
Good baseball guy. I mean, he understood the game, but just that kick and dirt routine, a little tiresome. It was kind of like hearing "Kiss My Grits" or It was,
right around that time period.
Right.
On this date in 1961, Charles Wright was born, the former WWF Tag Team Champion and Intercontinental Champion, known previously as Papa Shango, Kama Mustafa, and most famously as the Godfather. Of course, leading the Ho Train.
An identity problem there, I think.
Turns 54 today. Still proving that even in his 50s, pimping ain't easy.
I hate when I hear these guys are younger than me, you know.
I know. It's a lot of these are a little bit of a mind bleep when it comes to these things. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. We'll be back next week. We'll talk a little Owen Hart. We'll go over the Payback results.
Looking forward to that.
We might have Lucas in the house. Not really sure. Thanks for listening. I'm off to the Monster Factory. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
And I'm next with Country Fried after the news.
Yes, he is.
1490 WBCB, Levittown, Peerless Hills, Trenton.